Hey everybody, thank you so much for just hopping on here and selecting this particular video. For whatever reason, the title drew you to it, and I think that that's just always important to just kind of acknowledge that there's a little something we want and something was appealing to us, so we're going to connect on a grounding yoga practice. So what does grounding mean? Grounding is just finding a little more stability. If you feel like you're a little out of control or there's just a lot going on around you, for me, the state of the world, a lot of things happening just really feels very unsettling right now. And this is a wonderful practice to just kind of remind us that we're in control of how we respond, and that we have this place where we can come to, we have our mat, that we can just turn to and find some stability and some security and some safety, especially when perhaps other places we don't quite feel that way, whatever the situation may be. So, grounding sequence. Let's start out. Whatever seated position feels good for us. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting through the crown of the head, almost like we have this beam of energy that's just reaching toward the sky, but also feeling very rooted on our mat. Hands can be on our knees with our palms facing up, or they can be in our laps, whatever feels right for us today. And we'll close our eyes and just take a couple of moments here. Transitioning in from whatever we were doing before. Giving ourselves that time and space to be here right now. Whatever is next on the list of things that just doesn't quite seem to get any shorter, or if we find our mind wandering, excuse me, to whatever we were doing before we sat down or on our mat, let's be okay with that. Be okay with our mind wandering other places. And when we're ready, let's come on back to our mat. Come on back to our breath. We start to deepen our breaths here, drawing out the inhales as well as the exhales. Perhaps our inhales are about 3 or 4 counts. Same with our exhales. This is just our breath rhythm, our pace. This is our constant. It is our foundation. So if we feel like we're wandering other places, we come on back to our breath rhythm, those 3 and 4 counts. Feeling the chest rise with every breath that we take in, and feeling the shoulders melt away from our ears with every exhale. We'll go ahead, take a few more breaths as we set our intention. Whatever it is that we need a little more of, or perhaps a little less of. Maybe we have some decisions that we need to make, or we just need a little clarity. Perhaps we want to send some good healing energy to someone else that might need it. We'll go ahead, gently open up our eyes, getting adjusted to that light, taking a big breath in, hands come all the way up. Exhale, push away. Yes. Inhale, gathering in what's good. Exhale, release. Again, just a couple more here. Opening up our fingers nice and wide, and exhale, push away. 3 and 4 counts. Inhale and exhale. Let's take just one more here. And exhale. Yes. Bringing our hands onto our knees, sitting up tall. Let's inhale. Just arch that back, bring the chest forward, slight lift of the chin. And exhale, let's take a round, pulling that belly button in toward the spine, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale, go ahead, arch. So these are just our seated cat-cow poses. A lot of times we do cat-cow when we're on our knees, but today we are seated. But you know, if you want to go onto your knees, go for it, because this is your practice, no one else's. Whatever feels right for you today. Yes. Let's do just a couple more here, remembering that mindful breath. We'll take just one more here, one more of each. Finishing up on the round. Yes, and sitting up nice and tall. Dropping this left hand on the mat, let's lift the right hand high. Take a big breath in as we reach, and exhale on over to that left side. So every inhale is the preparation, and every exhale is where our work happens. So you'll notice on my exhales, I'm just reaching a little more. That's it. Right arm is just hovering over that ear. You might feel tempted to lift and just kind of collapse on over, but we remember we're in control. Staying rooted on that mat, maybe even taking our eye gaze toward the sky, a little rotation in that upper body. Let's take one more full breath in. And on our exhale, let's come on back to center. Yes, lifting that left hand nice and high. Gentle inhale, reach. And exhale on over to that right side. We're not going to let our head just hang. We're in control, opening up. Couple of breaths here. Reaching from the side body. Feels good. Taking another full breath in. And on our exhale, let's come on back to center. Yes. Inhale, lifting those hands all the way up. Let's take a little twist over to that left side. Sitting up tall. It's such a little twist. Slight turn. Because if there's any kind of an issue, a medical issue, pregnancy, core issue, whatever it is where twists are probably not something that our body wants to do, we don't ever have to do anything. Everything is an option. Nothing is a requirement. So you can just hang here. If you want to go a little further, holding on to that left knee, maybe looking over that left shoulder, go for it. Just sitting up tall wherever we are. We'll take one more inhale here. And on our exhale, let's come on back to center. Lifting the hands all the way up toward the sky. Just going to push away here. Just pushing away to reset that spine. Inhaling again. And exhale, push away. Last one. Inhale, rise. We'll take that twist over to the right side, letting those hands drop. Just holding on to the right knee. Maybe looking over that right shoulder. Just a nice full breath in. One more exhale. Inhaling to prepare. And let's come on back to center. So from here, let's find our first downward dog. We're going to switch our feet around to the side, just make our way, starting in this tabletop position, and then walking our hands forward a couple of inches, tucking those toes under. Find that first downward dog. We're still in this warm-up phase. Yes. Walking the dog a little bit here. Gentle inhale as one knee bends, and exhale, switching to the other side. Pressing into the palms of the hands as well as those finger pads. Little to no pressure on those wrists if we can help it. And moving with breath. Inhaling on one side. Exhaling on the other. Yes. Let's do just one more of each here. And then slowly we'll drop our knees all the way down to the mat, finding our first child's pose, sending those hips back toward our heels, and just reaching long. Let's walk our hands over to one side. Yes. Find that stretch in the side body. Deepen the inhales and exhales. We'll take a gentle breath in to prepare. And on our exhale, let's walk our hands over to the other side. Taking our time. Reaching long. Yes. Taking that breath in to prepare. And let's walk our hands on back to center. Finding ourselves back in that downward dog. Taking our time getting there. Tucking the toes under. Send those hips to the sky. Walk the dog here. Hips are to the sky, but we are feeling grounded and rooted in that mat. Energy into the palms of the hands as well as those feet. Stable in the earth. We'll go ahead and gently bend both knees just a little bit, and let's walk those feet all the way up to the top of the mat as we reverse the dive. Big breath in, little half sun salutation here. Soften the knees, exhale, let's take a fold. Flat back on this breath in, nice long neck. Exhale, fold, and let's reverse the dive, coming all the way to standing, reaching up high. Softening the knees, exhale, fold. Flat back on that breath in, nice long neck. Exhale, fold. Reversing the dive, reach up high, last one. Soften those knees, exhale. Flat back on that breath in, long neck. Exhale, fold. Reversing the dive as we rise up and bring our hands to heart center. Yes. So let's find this mountain pose here. This is where our feet are about hip distance apart. We bring our hands to our side, palms facing forward. This is called Tadasana in Sanskrit, otherwise known as mountain. And there is definitely nothing more stable than a mountain, right? Nice and rooted, firm, but it's like its mission is to grow and reach higher. And that's us. That's how we're gonna move through this practice. Rooted and firm and stable, but still seeing where we can go and how much we can grow. We'll bring our hands to heart center. Finding a tree pose as we shift our weight onto our right side, opening up in that left leg, finding the right tree pose for us. That left foot comes up against that standing leg. Maybe the heel below the knee joint or toes above. Tree pose is also a grounding pose because, like a mountain, if we think about it, rooted and firm, stable in the earth, supported. And still reaching high, reaching up toward the sky, pulling those shoulders away from the ears, opening up our fingers. It's really the ultimate sense of balance. Feeling so strong beneath us, feeling supported by our mat, feeling supported by things that we cannot see, and still having the freedom to grow and reach. There is security and safety right there in that acknowledgement. Let's take a big breath in. On our exhale, bring everything back down. Yes. Shifting our weight onto our other side now, onto that left side, opening up in the right leg. So just saw that, how that hip wanted to hang out right there. We're in control. Find as much length as we can. Finding the right tree pose for us. Always avoiding that knee joint. We avoid the knee joint because we don't want to push anything in a direction that it was not made to go in. It's not how we're designed. And when we feel ready, hands could stay at heart center, or we can lift them toward the sky, pulling those shoulders away from the ears for a couple of breaths. Yes. There we go. Gentle breath in, lots of height here. On our exhale, we'll send everything back down. Let's just shake it out. Shake it out right there. We'll find our mountain pose again with our palms facing forward and bring the shoulders forward, up and down. Just a couple of breaths. Opening that chest, opening up in the back. There we go. Yes. All right. From here, let's find Warrior Two. Excuse me. I hate clearing my throat when I have the microphone. I apologize. But I don't want to talk like this the entire time because that's annoying too. So I apologize either way. Let's find Warrior Two. We're bending into this left knee. And of course, I got to clear my throat whenever I'm recording. When I'm going through regular life, I don't really have to do it that much. So maybe it's mental. Maybe I need more yoga. Okay. On that note, I digress. Let's bend into that left knee, looking over our left hand. Just find this Warrior Two and a little bit of movement here. Inhale as we straighten that leg. We don't have to lock that knee into place. And exhale, finding Warrior Two, bending into that left knee. If you'd rather just hang out in the stretch, just hang out in the stretch. Hang out in Warrior Two. You don't have to straighten the leg and bend. It's all good. There's safety and security when we know that we have our freedom, options to switch things up, finding the right pose for us. Let's hang out in Warrior Two, and then let's find this side angle where we drop this left elbow, letting the right arm hover over the ear and pulling that right shoulder down. Yes, side angle. If it's a little too much to have that right hand up there, we can always rest it at our lower back. But we're definitely not digging that left elbow into the thigh. It's gently resting there. We're holding our energy in our core, in our powerhouse. We're not going to dump it all into that leg. Let's take one more inhale here. And on our exhale, find Warrior Two. Straightening that left leg. Let's inhale, reach over the toes. And exhale, come on back to center. Setting up for our triangle. Inhale as we reach. And exhale, back to center. One more time. Inhale, reach. Drop that left hand. Right hand lifts toward the sky. Our version of triangle today. Maybe that right hand is just resting. I taught this exact sequence just before I started recording this one, and I loved it so much, and I just knew that I wanted to share it with you. But I tell you, my arms are getting a little heavy. We make the pose fit our bodies, right? Let's put a little bend in that left knee. Come on back, warrior two. Yes. Straightening that left leg. We're gonna turn those left toes now. Bring the hands to the hips. Just take a moment. Chest is proud, shoulders back and down. Let's turn those right toes now. We're setting up for warrior two, looking over our right hand. Exhaling into our strength. Let's inhale, center, find a little movement. And exhale, warrior two. Now, you might notice I'm not bending as much. There's not much of a range of motion for me on this side. And this is just my knee that needs a little more love. I always bring that up in my videos because I think it's important for us to remember that just because we have two legs doesn't mean they're equal. Two arms doesn't mean they're equal. Doesn't mean that we're going to be exactly the same if we did this sequence tomorrow. The practice is no judgment, no expectation. It just is, and that's okay. All right, hang out in that warrior two, looking over that right hand. Let's find side angle, dropping that right elbow, gently resting on the thigh as our left arm hovers over that ear. Taking our eye gaze toward the sky, pulling that shoulder down. Yes. Gentle inhale. On our exhale, let's come on back to warrior two and straighten that right leg. Inhale as we reach over the right toes, letting that hip just kind of sass out to the left side, and we'll bring it on back. Inhale, reach again. And exhale, come on back. Last one, reach. Drop that right hand, lift the left hand toward the sky. Just let the exhales take us a little bit deeper into our pose. If we need a little bend in that right knee, we absolutely can have that. Yes. If it feels better to rest that hand, go for it. Let's just make sure that we're opening up in that left shoulder. We're not turning forward and crouching down. We always want to be open to that strength, open to that stability. Gentle inhale here. Let's put a little bend in that right knee. Come on back to warrior two, looking over our right hand. Let's straighten that right leg. We'll turn those toes. So now our toes are facing forward. Let's take this nice fold. Oh yes, just hang out. We know that if being upside down like this does not serve us well, we can come out of a pose at any time. Otherwise, we plant that right hand on the ground, mat or floor, fingers wide, right under our face. And let's open up for this twist here, lifting that left hand toward the sky. Lots of twists in today's practice because as we talk about grounding and stability, it's important that we remember twists are a great way to release toxins, release tension, release everything that we don't need. And it's all that gunk and junk that we need to let go of that kind of makes us a little topsy-turvy. Those are things that do not keep us stable and grounded. So there's a lot of twists in here today. A lot of twists in this sequence. Got to release whatever is throwing us off. Let's bring that left hand down. Take that twist to the other side. Plant that left hand. Go ahead. Open up to that right side. Lifting that right hand. We're not going to let our head just hang on down. Fingers are nice and wide. Gentle breath in. And let's bring that right hand on down. Yes. Bring our hands to our hips as we draw our shoulders back, lifting everything back up. Nice. So we'll bring our feet together, take our time getting there. Setting up for an eagle pose. And we think about an eagle being a very powerful being, and there is nothing like stability and security when we remember the power that we have. So let's shift our weight onto our right side and bring that left foot over. So if our left foot is on top, we're going to have that left arm on the bottom. Bringing the right elbow into the crease, backs of the hand are touching, or we can wrap a little further. There we go. Sinking those hips toward the mat. If you want to hook that left foot behind your calf, go for it. And in making eagle pose our own, perhaps we're holding onto a wall or a chair or a table. Whatever we need to feel secure, to have a little more stability, to rest in our power. The power of eagle pose. We do that. Lifting our elbows no higher than our shoulders, but pulling those shoulders down away from the ears. Let's take one more full breath in. One more exhale. Inhale, rise up. Let's unravel everything. Shifting our weight onto our left side. Let's go ahead, wrap that right leg around. If our right leg is on top, right arm's going to be on the bottom. Left elbow in the crease with the back of the hand touching, or wrap a little further. And we know if we want to hook that right foot behind, we can. Sinking our hips toward the mat. Shoulders are pulled away from the ears as we lift those elbows no higher than the shoulders. Gentle breath in. One more exhale. Inhale, rise up. And unravel. Shake it all out. Finding that mountain pose again with our palms facing forward. Just go ahead, pull those shoulders forward, back and down. Couple of breaths here. So we're in this mountain pose. Let's go ahead, bring our legs together. Legs are together as much as they can be. We have a little chair flow happening. So let's take a big breath in. Soften those knees. Exhale, we'll take our fold. Flat back on the breath in as we bring our hands to our shins. Exhale, fold. Reversing the dive all the way up to standing and finding our first chair. Yes. So showing you from the side, we always want to make sure that we have this nice long spine. We're not overarching. We're not tucking anything. We're just sinking. Spine is nice and long. Arms hovering over our ears, or they can be at heart center. We'll take one more gentle breath in here. One more exhale. Inhale, rise. Soften the knees. Exhale, fold. Flat back on the breath in. Exhale, fold. Reversing the dive. Finding our chair again. Looking a few feet in front of us. We're not looking down. Not going to crunch our neck here. We're not throwing that head back. Keeping the neck nice and long. Just a couple of breaths. Our mindful breath, those 3 and 4 counts that are getting us through. One more full breath here. Let's inhale, rise. Soften the knees. Exhale, fold. Flat back on the breath in. We're getting ready for twisted chair. Exhale, fold. Reversing the dive as we reach up high, finding our chair, hands to heart center, aiming that right elbow toward the outside of the left knee. Now we want to keep those knees next to each other as much as we can. Gentle breath in. One more exhale. Inhale, go ahead, straighten those legs, find that fold. Exhale in the fold and reverse the dive. Bring it all the way back up. Soften the knees, exhale, take this fold. Flat back on the breath in. Exhale, fold. Reverse the dive, finding twisted chair on this other side. Left elbow aims toward the outside of the right knee. It's okay if it doesn't touch. Just a couple of breaths, trying to keep those knees next to each other as much as we can, even if that means coming back up a little bit. It's more important that we keep the knees next to each other. Let's go ahead. Inhale, straighten those legs into that fold. One more exhale. Inhale, rise up. Hands come to heart center. So let's go ahead and step to the top of our mat if we're not already there. We're going to flow on down to the mat, start to wind things down. Taking a big breath in, hands come up. Soften the knees. Exhale, let's take this fold. Flat back on this breath in, nice long neck. Exhale, fold, planting the hands as we step on out to a plank. We'll hang out in this plank for about a minute. It's about 10 breaths. But we know that our best plank might be with our knees down, relaxing the top of our feet. Perhaps the hands are under our shoulders, or maybe we're down on our forearms. Lifting the knees or lowering. Whatever works for us today. Nice and strong. Planks are not really a power pose, but they're a strengthening pose. And it's a great reminder of the power that we have. They strengthen our core, and our core is where we hold all of our confidence. It holds just that positive view that we have of ourselves. That's where we draw our strength from, our core area. It's the center of our body, the center of everything. So if we're talking about feeling stable and safe, we have to remember the power that we have. And that comes from the core, and that's why we're doing this plank. Just a couple more breaths here. Yes. Even with the knees down, still feel that strength. We feel it working. Let's take one more big breath in. One more exhale. Inhaling to prepare. And let's find ourselves in our child's pose. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Reaching long with our hands for just a moment. And then if it feels okay for us, we can bring the hands behind us. Balasana. Letting those shoulders just drape over our knees if that's okay today. There we go. Taking a gentle breath in, we'll bring those hands underneath our shoulders and push ourselves up onto our bottom, swinging our feet around. Let's extend our legs nice and long, scooching to the top of the mat, finding this staff pose. Bringing the arms forward and drawing those shoulders back. We'll pull our belly button in toward our spine. Go ahead, roll on down, all the way down. Yes, yes, yes. We'll hug our knees into our chest. Rocking a little bit side to side. Massaging that lower back. and finding the right opening pose for us. So I'm going to go into happy baby, but a couple of different options. Maybe we just have our hands on our knees and we're opening up here. Or we can open up our feet. We can plant our feet down, have the knees fall in toward each other, and open the feet. Whatever feels right for us. If you'd like to come into happy baby, that's bringing the feet toward the sky, taking our peace fingers and holding on to our big toes, rocking a little bit side to side. Gently releasing those toes, let's bring those knees back together. Sending our feet on down as we open up our arms like we're making a capital H. And let's drop our knees to one side. Wrapping up our practice with a twist. We'll take our eye gaze looking in the opposite direction that our knees are in. Just a couple of breaths. Keeping both shoulders on the mat. And just taking our time. We'll bring our knees on back to center, taking a breath in. Just one more exhale to relax. Inhale to prepare, and let's drop our knees on over to that other side. Oh yeah, take our time getting there. Shoulders are on the mat, and we'll take our eye gaze in the opposite direction that our knees are in. Just a few more breaths here in this restorative twist. Taking a gentle inhale here to prepare. And on our exhale, let's bring everything back to center. There we go. So we'll make our way to our final relaxation pose of choice, whatever that position is for you. I like to have my feet on each side of the mat and have my knees falling in because that just takes some pressure off of my lower back. But you know, you can have your legs nice and long, or a butterfly stretch, or maybe even go up an actual wall, legs up the wall. Whatever speaks to you right now. We'll be here for about 2 minutes. You know that you have the freedom to pause this and take as much time as you need. And then we'll come on back to seated and we'll finish up. So let's just enjoy this moment right now. Our Shavasana. Eyes can be closed or open. we start to bring some awareness back to our body just by wiggling our toes and fingers a little bit at a time, making slight movements with our hands and feet. And then either staying on our back or making our way onto our right or left side in a gentle curled up position. And then using the strength from our hand and our arm, we'll go ahead, push ourselves up, opening up our eyes, getting adjusted to that light, sitting up nice and tall, remembering our intention here. Let's inhale, reach our hands toward the sky, gathering in what's good. And exhale, release everything that we don't need today. Inhale, taking in all that positive energy. And exhale, releasing everything and everyone that does not work for our good. One more breath in as we bring our hands up and together at heart center. Remembering our strength, remembering our power, remembering that we can control how we respond. I hope that you move through the rest of your day, your week, your month, whatever your future holds. Move through it with grace and just peace. Thank you so much for finding time to flow with me. And I appreciate you. I hope you appreciate yourselves just a little bit more. Namaste.